Can you tell us what is your platform? What is your website? How did you start?
I just started by making content that I found inspiring to myself. So recording myself studying and making myself really want to get into it and do well in school. So yeah, that's kind of how I got into it. I started posting these videos. I thought it will keep me accountable if I start posting. And I was quite surprised because it turns out a lot of people want to watch that and want to be inspired by the same things that I am. So that was really cool to see. So I kept posting on TikTok mostly. And as my audience grew, I moved over to Instagram. I'm still working on building Instagram as well. And I started making my own website where I started posting blogs and all of that sort of really, really fun and informative stuff on blog form so people can kind of come back to it or save it rather than having to watch it in a video. But mostly I use TikTok and make videos on there.
So teandstudy, you're the influencer of students' world, but how as an influencer, how you are able to say no to big corporations who want to basically suck up your content and make sure that they get the best out of you. So how do you make sure you're not being exploited?
Well, I think that's a really hard one. And I think women especially find it really difficult to say no to big companies for one, but at work and taking on tasks that they don't want to take on maybe, or taking on extra work that they don't really have time for. I think that that's a really common thing for women to do. So building this kind of confidence is one thing that I've been working on. As you say, it's hard to stand up to the big companies, especially if you're being offered a lot of money to do a promotion. It can be really hard and a little bit scary. You don't want them to blacklist you, and you have to be really careful with your reputation as an influencer. But I think the main takeaway I would say for building confidence and being able to say no to big scary brands is definitely practicing in smaller situations. And I think that goes for anything you're trying to do in your life. If you're too busy, practicing saying no to small things, like maybe your friends want to go out but you're too busy to go out, or you're doing work, or you're working on your passion project, your website, whatever. Saying no in these circumstances, and you can kind of build the confidence to say no to the big companies after a while. And I think also if you make a mistake or you accept something, knowing that you can go back, don't be afraid to say, actually, I don't think this is going to work. And knowing that you are offering a lot, they really want to work with you and they're not going to react negatively or anything like that. You have the power in the situation, and remembering that all the time can really help with being able to stand up to things that you might not want to take on.
What would be your number one advice to all these educators? How to motivate you and your peers? What would be your number one advice to them?
Absolutely think that passion rubs off 100%. I have taken so many different papers in my 3 years of university and 5 years of high school, so many different subjects. And the ones that I've moved forward with, the ones that I've loved the most, are the ones where I can tell my teachers and professors are really passionate. So obviously my English degree, I had the most amazing English teacher in the world in high school. She was absolutely wonderful, incredibly passionate, loved reading, writing, all of that type of stuff. And I could just feel that, and it was so amazing. And I started studying it in university. And it was the same with classical studies. I also study classics and ancient history, and that's entirely because of this amazing teacher that I had in high school. And that's the same with a university. I would have never thought that I would study anything to do with ancient Egypt ever. But when I had this amazing professor who was so passionate, and you could just tell how much she loved the stuff she was teaching, I wanted to move forward. I wanted to show her that I could do well in her class. I wanted to show her that I would study for her content and could share her passion. So 100%, if you show that you're passionate about something, that you love the paper you're teaching, that you love the content you're putting out there, then absolutely that is what will help students be motivated and really want to study more.